Hello, everyone. I thank you once again for allowing me into whatever screen you're watching me from to talk about something that has been bothering me for a while. Let me start by asking this. Have any of you ever been at a social gathering and come to find out that most people were embedded into their phones? If the answer was yes, then that means we both having something in common. Because I too have been at several gatherings where most people were just on their phones. To me, it gets very awkward and very annoying, especially because I really like being social and getting to meet new people. I can give one of the best examples of how people can just doze off in their phones. So I work in construction, and when it comes to lunchtime, me and my coworkers pick a spot, usually where there's shade, so we can eat. After we're done eating, we still have some downtime, and everyone is as quiet as a mouse on their phones. There would be the occasional laugh from someone viewing a video, but that's pretty much it. It's surprising to say that me, being one of the youngest people in my crew, is the one that's always telling everyone to get off their phones and conversate, but they don't really listen. Therefore, I'll be talking about how although phones have made many technological advances, I believe that they have brought people more distant than bring them closer when it comes to communication in certain aspects. I'll be going through many reasons why I believe my claims are true. First, being the smartphones have added multiple features and apps that require little to no knowledge on how to operate, making them more convenient for anybody to use, therefore, making a social boundary when it comes to face interactions. Second, I will talk about how even the younger demographic has been normalized into using these phones in daily life. And I will end with how smartphones have made a negative impact on today's society when it comes to communication. First, we should start on as times go by, smartphones have been easier to navigate, especially with people that aren't too familiar with any type of technology. Ranging from toddlers to the elderly, which makes it easier for everybody just to get lost in their phones and not realize what's going on around in the world around them. I say this because I have seen it firsthand. Let me put my workplace as another example. There was a new guy that only had a flip phone when he first started, but then most of the crew talked him into buying a smartphone. Once he got it, he turned into a pro within a matter of days, with little help. He made his own emails, social media accounts, and he pretty much turned into the rest of my coworkers. He was one of the very few people that I would conversate during lunchtime, and once he got a phone, he completely changed. In an article that backs up what I've explained called How Your Cell Phone Hurts Your Relationship, Lynn explains, we might expect that the widespread availability of mobile phones boost interpersonal connections by allowing people to stay in touch constantly. But a recent set of studies by Andrew Kay and Netta Weinstein of the University of Essex showed that our phones can hurt our close relationships. Amazingly, they found that simply having a phone nearby without even checking it can be detrimental to our attempts at interpersonal connection. Next, we move on to how the younger people, ranging from toddlers all the way to teenagers, have been normalized to use phones for everyday life. As I started getting older, I would notice at family parties that most of the kids, instead of playing different kinds of games like tag, hide and seek, or any kind of other sports, they would be all gathered at a table, all playing on their parents' phones. It amazed me how one of the youngest barely learned how to walk a few months prior, can barely talk, but he knew how to navigate a phone in order to play the games in it. To me, this irritated me a lot because I felt that these kids weren't bonding and having a good connection with each other, like how me and all my cousins the same age had when we were growing up. All my nephews and nieces were silent but very in depth with whatever they were playing on their parents' phones. An article called How Does Technology Negative Aspects Affects Children's Social Skills? Walsh explains, smartphones have now become a necessary gadget for youth, and you will find them immersed in their smartphone devices, totally oblivious to the world around them. Most of the communication in this era of technology has been done using a keyboard or a touchscreen. Even children don't understand the basic conversation ethics. Social skills can't be learned being socialized in society. This is how technology leads to diminishing relationships and social skills. Last but not least, we move on to smartphones have made a negative impact on today's society when it comes to communication. Smartphones have made communication very easy for everyone around the world, meaning anyone can share anything they want, and it'll be online for everyone to see at an instant. I bring this up because negative impact on this privilege is that many people use it to create mass gatherings and start riots, for an example. Another example is in my neighborhood, I have a constant problem of there being car meets, and these people all over social media can find out where to go in an instant if they follow the right people. It just goes to show how easy and fast people can do so much with something as small as their palm being their smartphone. An article called Negative Effects of Mobile Phones on Today's Society, Health, and Environment, it explains that mobile phones now becoming a major communication tool for criminal activities. People are using the fastest communication for terrorism and other kind of criminal activities. We must overcome these negative impacts of mobile phone use on our society, otherwise our society and new generations will completely destroyed. In conclusion, although smartphones have made it easier to communicate at an instant, they have also brought people more distant when it comes to communication in certain aspects. I explained how smartphones have been made easier to navigate and pretty much make it convenient for anyone to use them, leading to social boundaries when it comes to face interactions. I talked about how even the younger demographic has been normalized into using smartphones for everyday life, and I left off with how smartphones have made a negative impact on today's society when it comes to communication. I know that it's very hard, especially in times like this with the pandemic going on, that we're all stuck on our phones. We had to rely on them a lot, especially when it came to school to view all of our work and see what we had to get done. But it is always nice to just put it down and take a deep breath and look at our surroundings. What I like to do is lay down in the grass under the shade of a tree and just stay there and enjoy my day and probably talk to people around me. Once a phone's battery has died, it has no purpose at all. It's nothing but a lifeless black screen. Let's not have a small device control us on how we don't interact with other people in the real world. Once again, thank you for watching. It would be kind of ironic if this was through a smartphone after all I've said, but yeah, thanks again.